Welcome to the Degenerate Nation podcast, episode 286. My voice is destroyed. My body is shot. I went to a wedding, and that was fun. They got married. He said yes, and she said yes. I'm probably fucking right now still. I hope they're like making babies up there. In the room. I'm in a hotel room. I got two beds. I got a jerk bed and a sleep bed. And I jerked on both beds. I did whacked off on both beds. So I'm going to read you a poem. It's not a happy poem. But I was having troubles the other night, and I decided to write something. So, I'm going to read you that. And yeah, this is a solo cast because I'm a solo man. That's how I get down, man. Alright. This doesn't have a title. Alright. If you want to title my poem for me, email at degeneratenation@gmail.com. Or Facebook, Degenerate Nation Podcast, or Degenerate Nation. Or Instagram, Degenerate Nation Podcast, or even Twitter at Degenerate Show. Okay, here's my poem. Who'll be there to pull my plug when my very guts are past expired? Some fucking administrator, brother estranged, friends long dried up, love life expunged from the hall of records of every dead or dying snatch I stole for a moment's respite. Look at my fetid flesh and rip the cord out the wall. Begins with the umbilical cord as a crowded room fawns over us, but where are they now to sign my certificate after I amounted to a heap of excrement? And the God that waits for me wishes it was elsewhere too. There you go. So, that's a poem. You can name it for me. I don't give a shit. Obviously. And yeah, if you're interested in poetry or writing of any sort, and you think I'm legit enough to teach you how to do it better or how to focus more and all that, give some focus face at your computers or however you write, sign up for a class I'm starting. One way you can do that is through patreon.com/degenerate-nation. It's great. You can do it. You just sign up at patreon.com/degenerate-nation. Donate or give or whatever you call it. $15 or more per month, and you get the course for no additional charge. No additional charge. Burp, 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 burp. So, this is going to be a short one, I think, because my voice is gone, and my body is gone, and my soul is gone. But I have a story for you. You'll probably hear this again at some point, revisited. But this, you're going to hear it raw. So, we're at the wedding. It was great. One guy was kind of drunk, and he goes up to this the groom's sister, my friend's sister, and was like telling her how great her speech was, and then she's like, that wasn't me. She didn't make a speech. So he was drunk enough to confuse the two bridesmaids, and so he's just like, okay. And he's like, well, when did you give a speech? She's like, well, at the rehearsal dinner. And he's like, oh, wasn't it any good? Wasn't it any good? And then she eventually directs him in the direction of the actual maid of honor, and who did a knockout job on her speech. Oh, guys, I'm fucking tired. I need to be in bed. So yeah, she knocked it out the park. Great job. Lovely person. And I think he was like trying to hit on her or something, because he's like, I want to tell her she had a great speech. She says, I already did that. Not the hitting on, but just the telling her that she had a great speech. Great speech. Anyways, this guy fucking just like trying to talk to her for like, seemed like 20 minutes or something, and I was thinking to myself, he's probably too drunk to realize that she's married. And then sure enough, her husband comes by, and I could see from afar his look like, oh, and then like awkwardly got out of the conversation. Anyways, I tell that to preface his drunkenness. And also, he decides, or the groom was like tasked him with taking some beer and putting it in his car. Not the groom's car, but this dude's car. Drunk dude's car. So I was like, I'll help. I'll fucking help. I helped clean up the after party in the hotel. I'm like feeling generous. And so we have this fucking mission to get the beer in the car. And it was annoying. The beer was heavy, and I'm not very weak. I'm very feeble. And there was cops out, and it was just dangerous because he was basically drunk driving around the block and with me in the passenger seat, and I should have had the foresight to just fucking like, yo, let me drive this, because I'm not in a lush. I drink nothing with sugar. So we finally get this mission accomplished or whatever, despite almost getting pulled over by cops just driving around the block. To the parking garage, and to the hotel and the parking garage, back and forth. And as a yawn, I wasn't coming again, but I did come a lot, all over the place, on the floor, on the walls. So this guy, we were parking the car, and we had to go all the way up to the 6th floor, the roof. And then we're pulling into a spot. I was like, man, we should just like piss off the side of the fucking roof as a joke. I don't know why I said it, because he wanted to do it, and that was not good. It's because he decides that climbing up on this pillar, that's kind of like one of being on like a rock that overlooked like this vast like world. But he's drunk, and if he made one false move, he would have fallen to his fucking death. And I'm sitting there like, hey man, I was just kidding, obviously, and I think you should get down. He's like, no, I'm good. And he whips his dick out, and I'm thinking he's gonna fall to his death with his fucking dick out and land like dick first in the fucking pavement, and just body just fucking explode, and his dick gets ripped off, and everyone will blame me, and then I'll just have something more different to tell my therapist, which fortunately I already have a therapist, because I would fucking 100% need one if I inadvertently led someone to their fucking death. But sure enough, he didn't fall. Puts his dick away, puts his crank away, and jumps down, and then falls. I was like, oh god. So that's my story. He didn't die, but I gotta be honest. There's that moment where, not where you feel like pushing him just to see what happens, but where you just like, what if he did fall? Why? What? What if he falls? So what? So what? This is my life changes, probably, maybe. It's one more notch on the anxiety belt, the guilt. I'd have something to actually be guilty about, because I put the idea in his head. I planted the seed inside of him. So there's a part of me that was curious about that. Probably the same part of me, or a similar part of me, that wrote that fucking poem. So I asked you, audience, have you ever thought dark thoughts like that in a harrowing moment of the, well, what if